Today we're going to talk about the age-old adage that if you leave your ex alone, he'll come back to you. We're going to be discussing what that looks like and if that's actually true with what we're seeing in real life scenarios. But first things first, if you're new to this channel or you're new to the Ex Recovery program or any of our websites, probably the first thing that you should do is stop by our website and take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz. Simply look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on it. It will take you right to the quiz where you can answer the questions in 2 minutes and get a free sort of next steps guide. Okay, with that out of the way, let's actually start talking about if you just leave your ex alone, if you kind of ignore them, does that work to make them come back to you? Okay, so we've coached thousands of different clients coming through ex-boyfriend recovery and even through ex-girlfriend recovery. So we've had a lot of different experience coaching men and women going through breakups. And pretty much the number one problem that we see our clients committing is an inability to leave their exes alone. Oftentimes, the ones who are coming to us are the ones who've been broken up with. So there is an extra incentive in their mind to try to immediately fix things. Now, I've talked on this YouTube channel a lot about the concept of sometimes the worst thing you can do when you're trying to reconvince someone to take you back is to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, because all that ends up doing is making them more defensive. So what I'd like to do is briefly describe those types of behavior and then tell you what you should be doing instead. So what does kind of not leaving your ex alone look like? Well, we've come up with a fun acronym called Gnatting, G-N-A-T, going nuts at texting. Oftentimes our clients will come to us and they have literally blown their ex's phone up with 45 text messages or 70 missed calls or 25 voicemails, and these aren't exaggerations. Real people are actually doing this. That doesn't tend to help make someone want to come back to you. But one question that I don't see a lot of my peers asking is why? Why doesn't this type of behavior work? I mean, in the moment when you try to blow up your ex's phone, when you go nuts at texting, it makes sense, right? I'm going to convince them. I'm going to say that one thing that will make them turn the corner and want me back. So why doesn't it really ever work? Well, it's because what I just said. Well, if you actually really think about it, it has a lot to do with positioning. Your ex most likely broke up with you. So in their mind, they think they're positioned in a little bit better. They think they can do better than you, so to speak. And all you do when you blow their phone up, when you are unable to just leave them alone for a little bit, all you do is reinforce their decision. See, I knew she was like this. See, I knew she was emotionally unstable. These are the types of thoughts that they're going to have. And it can be hard to hear this, maybe, especially if you've engaged in this type of behavior, but put yourself in their circumstances. Let's say that you were dating someone that you didn't want to be with, and they just kept blowing the phone up. And oftentimes we block those type of people. We don't want that type of energy around us. So that's why blowing your ex's phone up and trying to say the magical words to make them realize they shouldn't have broken up with you is a big no-no. We've really never seen it work. But honestly, we're getting kind of off topic here, because the ultimate question that this video is posing is if leaving an ex alone can be the key to winning them back or making them want to come back. And the answer to that is kind of. So pretty much anyone who's really well versed in this YouTube channel or the way we do things at ex-boyfriend recovery or ex-girlfriend recovery and the Ex Recovery program, basically, you'll hear us talk a lot about the no contact rule. Basically, you're ignoring your ex for a certain set of time, 21 to 45 days, you know the whole thing. Technically speaking, you would think that's enough to make them want you back, but we're finding that's actually not true. The act of ignoring your ex in and of itself is not going to be enough to make them suddenly realize they made a mistake in breaking up with you. Something else has to happen during that time that you ignore them or leave them alone. Now, for years, I would always hear about this concept of my clients who would basically get their exes back, but it was only too late. They got their exes back, or their ex begged for them back when they had moved on or were interested in someone else. And by that time, it was too late. And for the longest time, psychologically, I would try to find evidence to back up this concept. And it's kind of like hitting a moving target until finally I figured out how to explain it. And this has been why I've been talking so much lately on this YouTube channel and on my website about attachment styles and attachment theory. Now, if you're not familiar with attachment theory, it's basically this theory that posits how you grew up as a child, the environments that you were in kind of created an attachment theory, your way of handling relationships. There's 4 main types of attachment styles. You have secure, anxious, avoidant, and fearful. But today we're only going to really talk about 2. And there's a specific reason for why that's the case, because most of the clients that we see are one specific type of attachment. And really the key to making an ex want you back by ignoring them or leaving them alone and making them come back lies in this concept of understanding what attachment style you are and changing your approach. So we've been one of those blessed outfits to have literally coached thousands of men and women. And what we find is when we actually diagnose what specific type of attachment style that our clients have, bar none, it's pretty much the anxious type of attachment style. And that's especially relevant to this video because this video is all about you leaving someone alone and not making them want to come back. But the fact of the matter is most of our coaching clients are not like that. They're anxious. They want to fix things as soon as possible. They almost sometimes have their entire lives wrapped around this relationship, and it feels extremely difficult when that gets ripped away from them. So what's the key? Like I said, we talked about the no contact rule. Everyone knows about the no contact rule. And if you don't know, just check out some of the YouTube videos on this YouTube channel to learn about it. But why isn't that the no contact rule alone isn't enough to make that ex suddenly have this epiphany and realize, oh my God, I made a mistake? Well, in order to understand that, we need to understand this transition between an anxious attachment style, which most likely most of our clients are, to a secure attachment style. So let's describe the anxious attachment style. So an anxious attachment style is going to be someone who's extremely emotional. They're hungry for a connection. They have these fantasy bonds. They kind of work up these ideas in their head about how things are supposed to be. They have a lack of nurturing, and they're really turbulent. Now, does that specific attachment style feel like it's the specific one to get an ex back by leaving them alone? No, these particular types of individuals have an extremely hard time of letting things lie, just sort of letting it sit there and letting it work itself out. But that's really not what we try to teach during the no contact rule. See, we understand that most of the people who come to our program right away are in an extremely emotional state. So the smartest thing that they can do isn't to try to feed into that anxious attachment style, but is to get them to realize they need to learn to become a secure attachment style. Now, let's define what a secure attachment style is, or the adjectives to define what it looks like. So a secure attachment style is someone who's going to be confident, they're going to be reciprocal in how they handle their feelings, they're non-reactive to difficult situations, but most importantly, they're resilient. Okay, so secure attachment style essentially is like the holy grail that you're going to be shooting for if you're going to be trying to win an ex back in a turbulent time. This is especially important during a no contact rule because really all the work that we're going to have you do during the no contact rule, if you come and kind of approach your breakup in the way that we tend to like to teach breakups and success stories and everything like that, is really all the work we have you do is based on helping you get or achieve that secure attachment style. It's about looking at problems, very, very difficult problems, not as world-ending events, but as fun. This is going to be fun. I'm going to solve this almost like a crossword puzzle. I'm going to have fun solving this crossword puzzle. So if you're asking me why it is that this concept exists of leaving your ex alone, letting them go, and then all of a sudden they come back, it's because most of the time there's like this almost magnetism to a secure attachment style. In almost every case, the secure attachment style kind of mellows out the other different or difficult types of attachment styles and really kind of pulls them together. And that's what you're doing. A lot of times women who come to me, or even men who come to me and say like, oh my God, you're not gonna believe it, so-and-so texted me after a year. The real reason they texted you is because they can somehow sense that you've exhibited or achieved this secure lifestyle. the secure attachment style. Maybe it's not anything that you said, but maybe you posted something on Facebook and that just kind of bleeds through. So here's the point I'm trying to make. Leaving your ex alone, doing a no contact rule, ignoring them for a little while, doesn't work in and of itself to make them come back. What you do during that time that you leave them alone is what really makes them want to come back. Hey there, thanks so much for getting to the end of this video. Real quick, in the comments section below, can you tell me what type of attachment style you think you are? I think it'd be a real fun social experiment to look and see just how many different types of attachment styles we all have. Also, if you haven't taken the quiz that I talked about at the very beginning of this video, the Ex Recovery Chances quiz, pretty much good idea to do that. So all you gotta do if you wanna take that quiz is simply look in that description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. Also, if you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so. Every little bit helps. I'll see you next time.